second Sunday in May is a special day when we celebrate motherhood and show our appreciation for our mothers, grandmothers, stepmothers, or other mother figures in our lives. We shower them with gifts, take them out to special dinner, or make them homemade cards. But for moms, the love of their children is what makes it special. Hello everyone and welcome to Our Voices. I am Simanyush Yakoye and I am joined by my co-host Amina Aliyu. Orian Itangishaka is off today, so we have a special guest host from VOA's French to Africa service, Ginny Niwa. Welcome to Our Voices.
Hi ladies, such an honor.
It's our honor to have you here too.
I'm a big fan of your show, so
yes,
I'm
so
very happy to be here.
And we are big fans of you.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, we are. And we are here to celebrate mothers and mother figures. And do you celebrate Mother's Day? How is it like in your respective cultures? Ginny, let me start with you.
I have two mothers, right? So I was raised by my aunt, and I have my biological mother who is here now. So with my aunt overseas, I would say, text, WhatsApp, and if my brothers, feel like it, they'll say, hey, let's tip in and offer mom some flowers. Now, my biological mom, she hates when people spend money. So I would love, to take her to the restaurant, but I know she'd be like, why you want to spend money?
So, but you are also a mother of three, so how do they celebrate you?
Text. Happy Mother's Day.
The new technology.
Very millennial. Not too,
Yeah.
That's nice.
Amina, how is it like for you in Nigeria? Do you
Hallmark's
celebrate
influence hasn't gotten quite across the continent just yet. But WhatsApp's influence has, because during Mother's Day, you always see, and England and America have two different dates for Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And so you see messages circulating for Mother's Day and like, oh, and you see it again and you're thinking, did I miss it again?
I know. I mean, the technology also helps when you are abroad and you cannot be there to spoil your moms, even if you are for your African communities. But it's really interesting because, being a mother is the world's hardest job. The amount of responsibility, worry, time, and energy it requires is tremendous. But for mothers, they really deserve to be appreciated every day. But raising a child alone is even harder. According to the global analytic firm Gallup, the sub-Saharan Africa has the highest percentage of single mothers worldwide. This could be as a result of premarital childbearing, widowed, or even divorce. But starting from acceptance to financial strain and parenting issues, single motherhood comes with unique challenges and responsibilities. As we celebrate Mother's Day this coming Sunday, we will honor mothers who have managed to survive and thrive being single parents. We will also hear their challenges in handling all the responsibilities of raising a family while working full-time and discuss ways to succeed as a single mom.
In Senegal, having a child out of wedlock often leads to shame and social exclusion. It can be even more difficult for a foreigner without a family support system. A Congolese single mother living in the suburbs of Dakar shares her story of perseverance. Alison Fernandez has this report from Dakar, narrated by Salim Solomon.
In the district of Goodway, a suburb of Dakar, Madeleine Mesengo prepares her son for school. Originally from the Democratic Republic of Congo, she arrived in Senegal 5 years ago at the end of a difficult journey. Once in Dakar, Madeleine quickly found herself on the street with her two children, then aged 8 years and 8 months. Despite the hardships and warnings of those close to her, there was no question of Madeleine abandoning her children.
I didn't want to see the children suffer, because if the children suffer, you will pay for it one day. But the children did nothing. That's why I said to myself, I'm going to keep my children. What I'm going to eat with my children. I will stay with my children under any circumstance.
Today, Madeleine has overcome many difficulties with the help of the La Maison Rose, a shelter where she lived for more than 2 years with her children. Madeleine was able to receive training to bake pastries there, and today she works for a fast food chain. Unfortunately, her financial woes continue.
Bye-bye.
Her meager monthly salary of 60,000 CFA francs, or less than $100, is not enough to cover her household expenses.
même pour nourrir les enfants jusqu'à fin du mois.
My salary doesn't even allow me to feed the children for the full month, because after I pay the rent and the school fees, I have practically nothing left.
Single-parent families are particularly vulnerable around the world. Life for families is more difficult in Senegal, where the poverty rate is over 37%, according to official figures from 2019. So Madeline continues to regularly go to La Maison Rose, where she receives material assistance and support.
Almost all the women either go back to their families and it's no longer a problem because they are in a house with the others. But if they are on their own, either because they're from another country or because they were thrown out of their house, where they have to find a room, it's terrible.
Since its opening in 2008, more than 200 babies have been born at La Maison Rose. The staff say they want it to be a place that welcomes women when they are most vulnerable and offers them an opportunity to put their lives back together. For Alison Fernandez in Dakar, Salim Salomon, VOA News.
Well, single motherhood comes with a set of emotional and social challenges. To give us more perspective on this, we invited former Mrs. Uganda, Dr. Zoe Nakuya. Also a medical doctor, Zoe was once married and is blessed with 2 daughters. But after her divorce, she says she was shunned, sneered at, and gossiped about for her failed marriage and for becoming a single mother. Dr. Zoe is joining us from Kenya via Skype to share with us how she rose above this challenge and become a successful single mother. Dr. Zoe, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah,
it's an honor to share with you.
Yes, thank you so much. So after your divorce, you said you lost your job, your money, your friends. Why was that?
It's just weird. Sometimes negative things seem to happen right around the same time in life. So what happened is the job had nothing to do with the marriage. It just happened around the same time that my project was closing. And then also the marriage, it got scattered. So that's what happened. Everything happened at the same time. So I was dealing with a new life situation and also dealing with a new financial situation. Yes, so that's what happened.
Doctor, I wanted to ask you, was the father family involved in raising your children?
I have been mostly doing the primary caring work, but I would say that they have access to both sides of the family.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And my question for you, Doctor, is you have a PhD, right? How did you manage that?
No.
You don't have a PhD?
I don't have a PhD.
My mistake.
No, it's okay.
My
I'm
mistake,
a doctor.
excuse me.
I'm a medical doctor. Yes,
you're a medical doctor. Ooh, even more challenging. Yes. How did you manage that with being a single mother?
Actually, once I had new duties on my plate, I kind of stepped back a little bit from intensive engagement with projects and with hospitals. So I was doing more of wellness coaching and wellness programs and dealing with individuals and with companies. So that gave me sort of like a balanced way of taking care of my children and also working.
Mm-hmm. So, Dr. Zoe, now you call yourself, you are the driver of your own life. So how did you manage to avoid all the stigma and embrace yourself as a single mother?
I think it doesn't happen in one go. Embracing stigma comes, I think, in different steps. At first, you're hurt, and then you're angry as you're trying to deal with a situation, and then you're trying to kind of explain yourself why you are where you are. But most times people don't listen. They're like, society is set up like this and that's how you should flow with it. So if you're not flowing with it, then there is something wrong that's happening on your side. So you go through that transition and then you get to a stage whereby, okay, I don't care. Think what you think. I will do what I need to do. And then you move from a stage of I don't care to a stage of I understand where the stigma is coming from. I understand the conditioning that's been happening in society that makes it think like that. So you move into, I understand where you're coming from. I understand why you're stigmatizing me, but it's okay. I don't have to be how you think I should be, but you don't have to approve of how I am feeling. So there is space for all of us. And then in that place, you find peace.
Yes. Doctor, on that note, I'm curious to know, with all of your experience, all of your lived experience, looking back, do you think you would have opted to maybe marry again and have a man's support just so you don't go through that?
Would I marry again?
Instead of going through single motherhood alone when you went through that, looking back now, they say hindsight is 20/20. Would you have opted to marry at that time as opposed to dealing with all the obstacles that you dealt with?
I think looking back, I'm happy that I have taken the time out without marrying again immediately. It helps you to reflect on where you could have made the wrong decisions, or where you could have not stood up for yourself, or some of the things that you kind of ignored or should have taken care of. So I think I'm happy that I've had that time to review, to reflect, to learn, and to re-strategize and how to move my life forward. Yeah.
That's nice. And today, would you feel okay to marry with 2 children?
Actually, there are 3 children. Yes, there are 3 children. Yes, I would feel okay. I'm comfortable. I think I've come to a place whereby I know myself. I know what works for me. I know what kind of person that I would work with.
Thank you so much.
I think I'll be able to recognize that person when that person shows up.
Thank you so much for all of that and your testimonial. Zoe Nakuya is a medical doctor and former Miss Uganda who says single motherhood isn't a curse. Zoe, thank you so much for joining us. Now it's time for a break. When we return, we will meet the founder of an online platform that is empowering parents of African diaspora, including single mother, by engaging them in dialogue and helping them share parenting experiences as well as resources. Don't forget to share your experience on what that helped you survive and succeed as a single mom. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and our handle is at VOA Africa. Use the hashtag VOA Our Voices. We are also on WhatsApp, and our number is country +1 202 503 9025. We will be right back.
Health, wellness, sport, beauty, medical breakthroughs. Healthy Living cares about your well-being. What are the main health concerns in Africa and around the world? Find out the latest on coronavirus. Connect with our experts and ask them questions.
How long does the virus stay?
Join me, Linor Moudou, in Washington, every week on Healthy Living, right here on VOA.
Kigali, we are here for the BAL Finals. For the best of African basketball. The Sahara and Nile Conference delivered their verdict. The top 8 teams on the continent are chasing the Holy Grail. Who will be the next BAL champion? It's game time.
Welcome back. You are watching Our Voices. Now, let's meet Galila Gaetane, the founder of Yekenfelij. This is an online platform that supports parents of the African diaspora to help share their parenting experience and create global community of parents who genuinely share each other's triumphs as well as trials. This platform especially empowers single mothers who otherwise would have felt isolated, alone, or disconnected. Galila, welcome to Our Voices.
Thank you.
We can't wait to hear about your platform.
But before we start our conversation with Galila, let's hear from single mothers in Zambia, Elizabeth Chilangwa, Rosina Moomba, and Viola Ndile, and working women from Ghana, Bilkis Giwa, who is a broadcast journalist, Joyanne Obeng, women's advocate and an entrepreneur, Odelia Ntamwa Wampong, to share their thoughts and experiences of single motherhood in our Your Voice segment.
In terms of the monetary aspect of it, is quite expensive because you have to deny yourself some privileges just so that you could make your children look nice. You wouldn't want them to lose their confidence. I do have support. My children's dad he looks after them very well.
In the event that a single mother has to bear the total responsibility of the upkeep of the child, I mean a woman who finds herself in that category, such women are likely to encounter a lot more challenges than those who have, even if at least minimum support from the community or their extended families. But be resilient, don't give up. We sit in class with them, we are the workplaces with them, some are in executive positions, some have attained heights that non-single mothers have not. So really, it's about the value systems, it's about the tenacity, it's about the focus.
Let people be and let them be able to live their lives and push forward. And those kinds of tags actually, especially in Africa, has a lot of impact on the women. Even when they are looking for jobs, it has an impact. When they are looking for a husband, it has an impact. Even in society, when people have children who are tagged born one, it is like, it becomes virtually like the curse system, you know, where people feel that that particular family member has brought disgrace to the family.
I get the chance to raise my son the way I want to raise him. The stigma that I've experienced is being sidelined when it comes to women getting together and having a good time. They invite their married friends. Some women think that you're going to grab their husband. So they do not want to associate with you. The stigma is there to believe that you're damaged goods. They do talk and you become gossip. It was hard trying to make ends meet, trying to raise a child. I had to constantly be working 24/7.
There is too much stigma, I would say, from my perspective. We actually feel it more at church, when church is supposed to be a home for everyone, but not really. Being there 24/7, you know, the thing is, because I'm a single mother, I'll try by all means to be there for the kids 24/7, to be their dad, to be their mom. So it's like I'm there for each and every milestone in their lives. Balancing, sometimes it's tough. I can't lie, but you just have to be a superhero that you are for them. From their dad, usually the support only comes in when it's something to do with school fees, you know, like the once in a while needs that they need, but the daily needs, like financially, I have to do it myself.
The stigma I would get from the workplace, when there are workshops, they would first pick those with the husbands who will be picking them from wherever they want to have a workshop. They'll say, single mothers, you wait, you have a date. Even at church, there are rare occasions when they put a program for single parents. So we feel neglected as single parents. I've enjoyed being a single mother because I can do what I want and I can plan what I want. The financial pressure is there. I used my pay slip was dirty because I kept on getting salary advance towards educating the children. The father never supported them from the time we divorced. They've all gone to college level and they are both working.
We just heard from women in Zambia and Ghana, and the challenges they talked about, they're shared by, women in the diaspora too. And Galila, you are not a single mother, but you created a platform for single mothers to come and share their challenge. Why is that?
Because I realized that when talking to my friends who are married and who are single, the burdens that we face were all the same, the challenges were the same. But it was doubled talking to our single moms who are dealing with children who have development issues, who are financially struggling. The challenges were more and the burdens were more. So I thought that, and when it's an online platform, it's easier for people to share their experiences because there is still that stigma, whether we are in the diaspora or not. As immigrants, there is still that stigma why you became a single mother, whether you're widowed or it's by choice or even if you're divorced, there is always that stigma. So creating this online platform, it made it easier for people to share their experiences, for mothers to share their experiences. And time from time, we realized that when people are talking to each other, they were very comfortable to talk about things that they thought it was shunned upon, that they could not talk to their families about, or they could not talk to their married friends about. So it was easier to say, okay, let's come together. And I saw the reward, how people were being comfortable and the tough discussions were coming out to light. So that was the reason I created my platform.
You know, I think it's a great idea because when I came out of my relationship, one thing that stuck out is I was like, I wish a lot of things were said to me before. You go in a relationship, sometimes you're young, sometimes you just don't have all the information, you know, just to make a good relationship. And that's because women, sometimes we tend to keep things for ourselves. We're not sharing. And that's really something that, that I always talk about is you have to spread the word. Talk about your experience. So I think it's a great platform. Is there a trend to, issues that women have? Something recurrent in your that you see?
Yeah, the recurrence mostly now with single moms dealing with children with development issues, with autistic kids, and that is just because it's also the time now women and mothers, families are talking about that. It's something that has never been talked about. Hide it before. Yeah, it used to be hidden. Yeah. And parents who have older kids, there is a very large trend of kids, especially in the diaspora, in the African diaspora, where there are mental health issues, anxiety with high school kids, addiction. And those things, when you're a single mother, that is even doubled. But when you have the support system, it's so much easier. It doesn't make the problem go away. But the fact that you know that your next door neighbor is also going through that and you can actually say, and the way that we find solutions just because of our cultural differences, our language barriers, is just different. It might not be the same way that you can talk to your colleagues or whoever else was here. The experiences.
One thing I must say is what I find the most amazing about the work that you do is that it's coming from a place of empathy because you're not a single mother yourself. But my question is, the single motherhood and the stigma around it, even in the diaspora, does it have tiers? So is it different for a divorcee? Is it different for a widow? Is it different for someone who had her child out of wedlock? Do you see a difference in?
There is a difference, and now sometimes you get to see it because there is this trend in the diaspora now. People are becoming single moms by choice. So when you say, no, I chose to be a mother, and then that's it, without being in a marital status, that is somehow okay, instead of you saying, oh, no, I was divorced, or I decided to move away from my relationship. I just have this relationship, but I'm just a single mom. So there is that conversation, but the fact that the conversation is even happening and the way that everybody is saying that you can succeed, it's okay, no matter, and that success is what's helping level the tears coming.
I think also, seeing other women who are like them going through similar challenges is also really very important. But also, these mothers are working mothers, especially in the diaspora. You have to work to support your family. But also we heard from the women in Zambia, they also have to work and find that balance. How is that hard to find the work-life balance, especially for single mothers who don't have help?
It is difficult. As a mother who is married and have that one support, I can only imagine how it's doubled because you are the breadwinner. You have to go to school. You have to send your kids to school. You are the one when they come back from school. There is nobody else. Except you.
Mother, father,
you are
best friend, support system.
You are everything, and that's why.
My question is: so we mentioned that being a single mother by choice is becoming a trend. And even though single mother is hard, and a lot of people don't fall into it by choice, it's by circumstance. Should we be worried from the trends that you see that the family unit is being affected and people will walk away from their relationships easier?
I don't think so, because then that will be, because people have a hard time talking about their toxic relationships. So now if you're saying, oh no, you can't be a single mother, there is that, you're moving away and dismantling that family situation really makes it hard for women to move away from their toxic or abusive relationships. So I would really have a hard time saying that it's breaking the family networks. But also what we have to think about, and this is the conversation that I have with single moms or even married friends, is like, what is just the fact that there is a father figure, does that mean that you are supported? Because you can be a single mom
in a marriage.
Yes. Right. You can be the sole provider.
Yes.
And the person might just be supporting you financially. And
that was a very, fruitful conversation we just had. And thank you so much, Galila, for coming and joining us here in the studio. It's a pleasure. And that's for our show for today. It has been a pleasure of having Dr. Zoe and Galila in the studio. We want to wish all those women providing unconditional love to all those who they care for a very happy Mother's Day. We will see you again next week with another exciting program. Be sure to continue the conversation on our social media platforms. Until then, thanks for joining us.